first of all, thank you for letting me give my side, the truth. Get rid of all the Twitter trolls. My husband and I have friends that were going up to TPUSA. We looked at the lineup and went, oh my God, this is the most incredible lineup of speakers. These are people that we've admired for years. This would be awesome to spend a weekend with like-minded or at least patriotic individuals. Let's go. And I get it now. Apparently that was an extremely naive thought that I could go there and just be a private citizen who bought her ticket to be my adult VIP ticket, mind you, to participate, not participate, just sit there and listen. I wasn't invited. It was a private purchase. I just wanted to go to this event. Picked up the lanyard, of course, used my stage name. It's called Privacy. Here's the funny part. You two might understand that. Why would I put my private name out into the public when it's known who I am? I didn't think about TPUSA, and I didn't even think about it. But here's the funniest part. That lanyard and my name started getting Googled, and there's a porn star at a conservative convention, literally. And I'm thinking to myself, the more I see this, the more I go, how did you guys know who I was? How's this a problem? Do you see what I'm saying? If you're so puritanical and self-righteous, how the hell do you know who Brandi Love was? That was fascinating to me. But I got 3.5 hours out of my VIP adult purchase because I went to the first 3 hours, listened to Charlie Kirk, Dan Bongino. There were several speakers that I got to see, and they were incredible. 3.5 hours of give up things, give up your personal, take your whippings for the conservative movement. All of things I've done. I've been a part of cancel culture. They're preaching it, that they're not that way, and we're Big Tent, and we're inclusive, and fight the good fight. And I'm sitting there looking at my husband going, yeah, we've done all of those things. And then I got home and they canceled me. I literally had an email saying, we're revoking your lanyard. You are not welcome back. The decision's final. But thankfully at the end it said, but you're welcome to come again in the future. Thanks. I can't make it up. It's out there on Twitter for you to read. And that started the storm. Yeah, that started the storm. And when it comes to the hate, yes, in the beginning it was very much 50-50. You know, right-wing Christian conservatives going, you can't be a conservative. You can't be a Christian. I'm being told by humans what I can and can't be. It's so bizarre. And then you've got the left literally taking the opportunity to poke fun at the Republican Party and at conservatives. And I went into the ring. I put on my gloves and stayed true to who I am. I continue to say the very things I've always said for the past 15 years. And thankfully, there's a lot of sex, drink, and rock and roll conservatives out there who feel as I do, that we just want life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. You know, so the good news is at the end of the day, it looks like we're more at about a 75% are with me and are against what Turning Point USA decided to do to me.
Wow. So you were there for 3.5 hours. And if I'm redundant, it's because my thing cut out and I maybe missed a couple of words that you said. So they didn't make it clear like who was Googling you or like who's precisely like whose idea it was. It was just coming from like Turning Point in general.
Well, it gets weirder. Interestingly, it has come out not by one source, but by multiple sources. And I've heard myself and seen on Twitter myself. You cannot make this up. But apparently there is a white nationalist group who is heavily infiltrated TPUSA. And they had a lot to do with the Twitter attack and exposing TPUSA as having a porn star speaking at the convention.
Wow.
So the way I'm hearing it and putting the puzzle pieces together, it would appear that the higher ups at TPUSA decided to listen to a white nationalist group, which should scare the shit out of all of us.
What was it that you saw that made you connect TPUSA with a white nationalist group? Like, was it a particular?
The list for the last 38 hours on Twitter is extremely revealing. you can pinpoint the individuals who approached it. You can I'm not going to say their name because I won't give them an
Of course, yeah.
They're disgusting in my opinion. So, and trust me, they feel the same about me, but their agenda is a horrifying one. And the fact that an organization like TPUSA would bend knee to them, I don't really know what to say about it.
Who was it that threw you out? Just a, whatever security guard was around?
Physical removal. There was not a physical. I came in, I sat, I listened. Me and my friends left, and then we went back to the hotel. I opened up my email, and I'm like, oh my god! And I had this weird, those gut feelings when you just know something's going on, intuition. There were a few people that looked at me in a way where I was a little taken aback, but nothing was said, right? But it all plays out. When I replay it, I'm like, it was the, what are we going to do? And they didn't do anything on premises. It was an email that was received after.
Okay, that's good. Yeah, it's good that there was not a scene created, and it is funny.
I don't know, it might have been fun. Videotaping.
Oh my god, it would have
very interesting.
It would have been probably very good for you. It would have been even more press.
I think it's already been good for her. Are you kidding me? I mean, this all happened for you. You know what I mean? I really believe that. I know it sucks because I know the last time that you and I spoke when you were visiting, you were going through some stuff, right? Just for being who you are and standing up for your beliefs, and then to be essentially kicked out of that party that you have sacrificed so much for. It's total bullshit. And then it's the people, like you said, that do know who you are, were they also removed? If right, the whole thing, if it's so awful that anyone, experience pleasure, because that's honestly what it is. It's just having being the gatekeeper of pleasure, then I think all parties then, right? That's the only way that it's fair.
You would think, but this, again, not all TPUSA, I don't believe that they were all on board with this. I think there's some division happening in there. I believe that that's happening, and I'm not making a blanket statement that they're all psychotic. There is a faction, though. There is definitely a faction of that organization that is so far right-wing and so, to me, personally terrifying, because basically they want to legalize morality, and that morality is their idea of it. And for me, that's an extremely scary thing, because how do you differentiate that from the Taliban? You want to know what legalizing morality looks like? Go on over there. Go on, hang out in the Middle East and see what happens. And that part is just ooh, it has my skin itching, because again, naively walking into what I thought was going to be a really exciting weekend, and then finding out that, like you said, very, very poignantly, is the people that I thought I've been supporting, and whether they had my back or not was okay, but I still believe to just backhand you, it's really eye-opening.
Especially at a time where you think it would be all hands on deck, anybody who's not a crazy left winger, let's all come together and and really try to save this country before it's too late. Just a couple things I know that people want to have clarified, because I was just there's only so many tweets I can read. So you had your stage name on your tag, which makes sense because you're not going to out your real name. Right. For people to look up, right? Same people that are back there Googling you are going to be oh, where does she live? Was this specifically an event for teenagers?
It's funny that they've managed to get that narrative out there. And in one little brief thing, if indeed that is the case, I find it awfully odd that there were bars on premises with alcohol. So let's just clear that up. That I walked through the VIP section and there were beers and cocktails everywhere. So if we're worried about the safety of children, which no, this is not, they are known for being an organization to change college campuses, which is 18 and older. And so were there children attending? Parents took their kids. It's a conference. It's a public held. You buy a ticket, you go. They're making it sound like I was handing out business cards and wearing an OnlyFans t-shirt. That is the most absurd thing I've ever seen. But that's the spin, that I was there somehow promoting my adult business. On the contrary, if you look at any of the photos that have been posted, I was one of the more conservative looking individuals there on purpose. You know what I mean? Time and a place.
You were trying to downplay yourself. Yeah.
I get it, you know? But
that was going to be my next question. Yeah. Were you in any way promoting yourself? Like, I was like, I can't imagine Brandi is out there handing out business cards, but I had to ask just so
I've never
people.
owned a business card. I mean, it's very bizarre. The only thing that, if you look through my timeline in the beginning, was me excited about the opportunity to attend this event and promoting them and their now I regret it, but their agenda. I thought it was a good thing. I thought this was an incredible organization. It wasn't about, hey, look at me and what I'm doing. Look what I'm going to do. It was, no different than if I was going to the movies or a great rock and roll concert. I mean, that's what Instagram and Twitter are. But I don't have Instagram because they disabled me.
Jeez. Recently?
About a month ago. Yeah.
Yeah. My Instagram
apparently the photo that went against the community standards was me holding my dog. Who knew?
Wow. But Brandi, was your dog wearing any clothes?
2 fur coats, actually.
Wow.
I don't
this
get
is very sad. Yeah.
I didn't get the angle either that they were trying to make it sound like it was an underage event, because even if that was the case, like, are you not allowed on school property because of your career choice? Like, both of us are mothers, so can we not, like, do the carpool? That doesn't make sense. So I don't know why.
You're making a perfect point, and that's the slippery slope. Is when he said that I shouldn't be in attendance because minors were there. I'm like,
I'm a mom.
I'm in a hotel. I just walked through the lobby and somebody under the age of 18 walked by. Should I have to leave?
Yeah.
I can't imagine living in that world. And I can't imagine that they'd suggest we should.
Well, it's kind of the thing that made me think of immediately when I saw, because I was like glued to my phone last night as all this was happening. Because I was just like, I was really surprised, actually. And maybe that's naivety as well. But it was back when, being gay was really, really frowned upon, and people were very ignorant about it. And they were like, well, he's gay, so he can't be around my children. And you're like, what does that has not, they're not related. How are you connecting these dots? Like, that's such a gross connection that you're coming up with.
It's a big jump.
Nothing.
It's a big jump for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. Yeah. The chat is like fuming. Same thing. You're there to kind of like in support of the country and, kind of anti-socialist and, anti everything we're trying to fight. And I don't think like we were all 17, 18 years old once. Like, I think if our parents had brought us to a conference, like, even if you are an 18-year-old who watches porn, like you're just not going to be in that frame of mind. If you're there with your family and you're at like, okay, maybe somebody would recognize you, but it's not like, oh, let me leave this talk to go Google Brandi some more and like go jerk off to her in the lobby. I mean, like you're kind of, that's even if they recognize you.
Well, they made it sound like I had a booth. Like I was an exhibitor and that I was promoting my adult activities. And I'm just like,
wow.
I mean, seriously, some of the lies were just so, one woman comes on there and she's just like, she was promoting it on her filthy Twitter account. Just look at it. And then her very next comment was, but she's cashing in. And I'm like, so not only do you spew lies and you're too lazy to look up the facts, you're now my CPA? You're watching the money? I mean, because wow, you know something I don't. It's just bizarre.